Welcome. There's Hogan. Welcome to Paving the Way podcast with B&M Builders. I'm JB.
Patrick Mullen.
Today we got a bunch of new people on the podcast, so I kind of want to run through and introduce themselves. First, you can see up in the top right, this is Christian. Christian is our estimator assistant. He gets all of our jobs prepped and ready to go. So say hi, Christian.
How's it going, guys?
On the bottom, we have Hogan. Hogan's a project manager for us. He does a lot of work for SMUD projects. He runs a lot of our projects kind of all over the place, all different fields. You see him for basically any project you do. And then in the bottom right, you can see we have Austin, who we've been talking before, and he's with Aldo. Aldo's actually our concrete foreman that runs all of our concrete jobs, runs the ADA, makes sure everything's compliant, keeps everything going.
He's wearing a Tykert shirt, but he really does work for us.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I tried to keep that out of the damn picture. I can only do so much. Sorry, guys.
He's just wearing that because we work with Tykert so much, and we've got such a great relationship.
We do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do, actually. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to run through kind of the top 10 questions that we get asked by our customers or by people that we're working with or estimating with, project managers, general contractors, kind of all of that. We wanted to run through, and I'm going to have each person kind of work on a different question so we can go from there. All right. So actually, the first one's for Pat, which I have not prepped him on. What is our scope of work, Pat? What kind of work do we do?
Well, we've talked a little bit about this in the past. We do primarily underground work, grading, asphalt paving, and concrete. We do not do any real large structural concrete projects. We stay away from those, fix mostly flat work, ADA work, driveways, sidewalks, ADA ramps, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So, hello, New York. We actually got a comment. That's pretty awesome. Hey, what's going on, man? So, like you said, we do all kinds of civil work. We'll do it for the public. We do street work, and we'll do it on projects like properties. We do rehabs and we do new construction. So we're moving to replace parking lots for the asphalt, adding underground drains, and working from there. All right. So second question. This one's for Austin. Can you hear me, Austin?
I can hear you, guy.
All right. What's better? This is going to be a good one for you. What's better, asphalt or concrete?
As far as the ADA parking stall.
No, just in general. What's better?
It's an open-ended question.
Kind of
really have an answer.
Hey, thanks for putting me on a double-ended sword, because we do both. I would say parking lot for ADA. I would say definitely concrete. Overall, your normal Walmart, you wouldn't, pour back a Walmart parking lot. The great thing about asphalt is it can be seal coat. You can restripe. You can beautify your parking lot at all times, whenever you want. As far as concrete goes, it will wear, crack. That's why, obviously, majority of your grocery store parking lots and supermarkets and all that stuff are paved back with asphalt. But ADA, I think the best case scenario is going to be concrete.
He's stuck on the ADA. Huh?
Well, when you pour your ADA in concrete, it doesn't have the ability to move. Asphalt pavement is, Seth has called it a flexible pavement in the past because it's flexible, it moves. You put a piece of heavy equipment on asphalt on a 105-degree day, it very well could make some divots in the asphalt. So concrete, once it's done, you can set it and forget.
So that's going to require less overtime maintenance.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
But yes. It does cost more up front to get done.
It does. Concrete costs more up front, yes. Even with the new increased pricing in asphalt?
Yeah.
Yeah. So asphalt's going to be a less expensive product, but it's going to last, and it's not going to last long. Concrete will be a little more up front, but it will last forever with almost no maintenance. Cool. Great job, Austin. Thank you. All right. Another question that we have that came in is, how can I tell if my asphalt is failing? Let me see. That's a good one for you.
Okay.
Seth was going to come in, but Seth's got a job he's working on, so I think you and I can kind of take this one.
How can you tell if your asphalt is failing? That's a pretty simple question. When you start getting either lots of small cracks or big cracks, when you start seeing chunks of asphalt coming out, you definitely know it's failing. If you're starting to get tree roots lifting and, tripping hazards, I would call that asphalt failing. generally speaking, it's just about taking a look at it. If it's got cracks all over, it looks like alligator skin, it's failing.
That's a good sign to look for, I think, is the cracks.
Yep.
If you see cracks, that's when you're going to start seeing failure in asphalt. Even if you have cracks now, it doesn't look like it's failing around it, it will fail eventually because cracks are a way to let water in.
Yep.
So that's something we want to prevent is water getting to your subbase.
We've seen alligator areas grow 25
We
to
got a
50
big problem.
in one storm season.
So what can you do to make your asphalt last longer?
Right?
Hogan, that's a good one for you, actually. You know that one?
To make your asphalt last longer?
Yeah.
Well, like you were mentioning about the cracks, water can get through the cracks and into the subgrade, but you can do a seal coat on that. We can also provide crack filling, and those are just a couple of ways that, every 5 years or so, you can seal your asphalt, keep it looking clean, kind of beautify like Austin mentioned, and keep your product good for you for, protect your investment.
That was kind of a pop quiz question. I was going to ask that to Austin, but his camera was blanking out. So that was a pretty good answer, I'd say.
Yeah.
Crack filling and seal coating. That's the way to protect it. And I had a question on here was how do I make my asphalt last longer? And I think that answered it right there too. Is seal coating. Seal coating is the way to make it last longer. Make sure your cracks are filled, and you're getting that done I think 5 years is a good span too.
Still doing it.
Well done. Well done on that one, Hogan. All right. So here we go, Austin. You ready?
Nope.
No, he's not.
Why
All right.
don't we jump over Christian?
Okay, so here's a good one. How would a subcontractor get on our bidders list? Christian, that's a great one for you.
I mean, that's the easy one. First, you would just estimating email, which would be estimating at B as in boy, M as in Mary, -builders.com. Once you contact our estimating department, and we will ask whatever details you contract with, and then from there we garner a relationship. You might need your guys' services.
Perfect. And you see that's our website down in the comments down there, bm-builders.com, or like he had said, estimating at bm-builders.com. Here's another one I actually had for you, Christian, while we got you is, and this is a big one that everyone's gonna love, but are we signatory to the union?
We are not.
Yes.
We are not.
We are not. So what that means is not being signatory to the union is that we can't usually work for general contractor or for contractors who are signatory to the union, but they can work for us, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can have them come and bid to us. We just can't bid to them.
We can work for other contractors who are not signatory to the portions of work that we are performing. So a little bit confusing, but our HVAC side could go and work as a subcontractor for a general contractor who is not a signatory to the HVAC union if that general contractor has exhausted all of his basically trying to find signatory contractors. If he can't get a hold of any or none want to do the job, then they can send it out to us to bid.
You guys on RedTube right now?
All right. So Aldo, now I got one for you. How do I know how does the customer know if their property is ADA compliant? Like they don't know anything about concrete. They don't know anything about that site work. If they showed up on their site, how's the best way for them to know if they are ADA compliant? What should they look for?
If they are ADA compliant, well, I guess the smart level for one, that wouldn't lie to you. It would tell you exactly your percentages. If there's some existing, whatever's there that's existing as far as sidewalk, driveway, anything that needs to be in compliance.
The truncated domes, if you don't see the truncated domes, that can obviously be a red flag right away.
Obviously, the truncated domes, yes. And I guess
a good thing that we found too is the parking stalls, right? Parking stalls are a great thing to look at because if your parking stalls are right, it's a good sign that you may have some ADA work done, right? What's included in a parking stall? Like Austin, you were saying that concrete's the best for doing an ADA parking stall. What would be included in that?
Parking stall, making sure if it's van accessible, your cross hatching for the path of travel into the, if it's not concrete, into the concrete area, which puts you into the business, which should have a truncated dome on it. obviously the handicap symbols, your signage, striping, that all plays a big part into this.
Yeah. Cool. Next question for Hogan. How long do I have to stay off of concrete after repair? This is one that you threw out to me, so.
We recommend staying off the concrete for at least 5 days. In certain situations, it's not going to be the end of the world. Like when we're doing the city sidewalks and things like that, we'll generally have those open within 24 hours to foot traffic. But when we're doing driveways or anything like that, you don't want to scuff the surface or roll your garbage cans or anything like that. Because even though the concrete is suitable after 5 days to a week, it still takes about 28 days for concrete to fully cure. So the more time you can give it, the better.
Yeah.
Right answer. What about asphalt?
For asphalt, it has a cooling period, and once it gets cool enough, you can get on it right away. You don't want to turn your tires or anything on it too much so it doesn't unravel. But you'll see a lot of times in the roadways that we work on, almost right away after we're completing paving, we're letting traffic through, and that's because those aren't areas like a parking lot where they're going to be turning or making aggressive turns to get into a parking stall. In a situation like that, you'd want to give it at least 24 hours and a little cooling cycle so everything stays good and firm and not unraveling.
Perfect. All right, and then one final question. This is for Christian again. What is our service area?
Our service area is, for the most part, Sacramento County, Bay Area. You go down to about Stockton area a little lower, then go into the Bay Area. We try to keep it around 2 hours area. We also
We say about a 50-mile radius. So 50-mile radius from Rancho Cordova, but we go a little farther for asphalt.
Yeah, that's
At times,
generally
too.
speaking. The concrete crew, they stay a little bit closer because most of those jobs are not going to be one-day jobs. The paving crew can go a little bit farther for a day or two. They'll go out of town, stay in a hotel for a day or two. But most paving projects are so short that we're willing to go out of town, pave, and then come back. Whereas the concrete crew, if you're on a decent-sized job, you don't want to be staying. We don't like the guys to have to stay out of town away from their families for weeks or months on end. So we tend to stay closer to home when it comes to concrete.
Cool. So that's all the questions I had. You have any questions you want to ask? Or
No, I think I'm good.
no? All right. So I thought this was a good experience to get everybody to see the team that you kind of work with when you're with B&M Builders. We're really proud of the team that we've built from the office with Christian and the PMs like Hogan and the foreman we have like Aldo. I think these are some really good examples of the guys out there doing some really good work for us. And we're proud to kind of show you what they're doing out there. Those are the pictures that we kind of show when we post. We showed in the last video when Austin was out there live showing some stuff. We want you to see what these guys are doing. And then when they come out to meet you, you get to kind of put a name to the face to the name. Is that right? Something like that. Something like that. So cool. So I think check us out on it. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere else we are. I don't even know.
All the social medias except for TikTok.
I thought you were on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much. Tune in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about site assessments for asphalt and the ADA in a parking lot for like a property manager or somebody who owns a property. So
if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead. Feel free to drop them in here or shoot us an email. Go to our website. Send us an email and ask us anything you got, and we'll answer it as best we can.
And there's Christian's email up there on the screen again, estimating@bm-builders.com. He's going to be internet's famous now, and he will be blowing up. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.